It's episode 1290, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What up, though?
And just down the street there, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
We have a great show coming up. We're going to talk a little sports. You saw that on the show title. We have Slices, Relevant Buzz, and at the end of the show, you guys sent in more Ask the Cast stuff, and there's some really funny ones in this one, so you want to stay tuned for that. But before we get going, Jesse, I have to follow up. We like to keep each show separate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Seinfeld, a Seinfeld episode. You don't have to have seen the last one to get this one. It's a pocket bottle episode. That's what we call it. But last week, you chastised me for lovingly, as a brother in Christ, you chastised me for venturing into the comments of the Relevant Instagram feed and feeling a certain way about a certain segment of our commenting audience. And you said, Cameron, don't be an idiot. Don't do it. And I have to confess to you, my brother in Christ, I did not heed your advice. And I've been in the comments every day since then. And there are some crazy people. Dude, they are taking, I'm sorry, we posted a silly little screenshot on Ash Wednesday, first day of Lent, of Mark Wahlberg in a previous year going onto the Today Show. And he was promoting a reading plan and his Hallow app for Lent, and he had the thing on his forehead. And the lower third said Mark Wahlberg's 40-day challenge. And we made the joke, hey, remember when the Today Show called Lent Mark Wahlberg's 40-day challenge?
I thought that was funny.
It was funny.
Because it is funny.
People are literally debating Mark Wahlberg's character, the fact that we're trying to be divisive and dragging the Today Show. And it's like, can't y'all just laugh? Can you look at the context of 30 other people right before you just put the crying, laughing emoji? Can't you just read the room? They can't do it.
But at least, but here's the thing. You know, at least it's about the content, you know? I've read some comments. I've ventured into some comment section on some stuff I've been involved in lately, and some of it's hard when it's personal. You know what I mean? Just this guy sucks.
Wait. You involved in like you? They're talking about you personally?
That's right. I have been invited recently to appear on a couple shows that I'm very grateful for. People want to check them out. I was on a show called Blurry Creatures a few months ago. Shout out to those
Blurry.
dudes.
I didn't know that. I gotta go check it out now.
And I was just this week.
Jesse, I got to be honest with you. I listened to it, and I was ruthless in the comment section underneath it. So sorry.
He was.
I like
Gary Hater one.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Christian X-Files. That's what I call it.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out those Nate and Luke. And then I was on a show that's in a similar vein. Ninjas Are Butterflies. Very cool show. You can check them out on YouTube. And 99% of the comments are nice. You know what I mean? But I think YouTube, people feel very entitled to tell people what they think of just you as a person. You know what I mean? It's a very personal medium. And, you know, I'm behind the scenes on so many shows. You know, this is, you know, Relevant's really the only one where I'm on mic, you know, but I had fun being a guest on these shows, and I really appreciate those guys for having me on. But, you know, the comment sections, they get, you know, they get spicy.
Give us some highlights. What are they saying about you? What stuck with you?
Dang.
What's been keeping you up at night?
The main one is is, brother, this dude sucks.
Oh my god.
Jesse, that's commented on every one of our episodes too, man. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
wait till they start saying stuff like, man, that's the reason Lecrae dropped you. It's because
well, how about this one? Well, this guy is boring, capital boring. It was a snooze fest. You know, I'll say most of them are nice, but you know, you guys, Derek, you know how it is too. Like you're saying.
Oh no, I know.
It's
that's
the
reason
couple.
Why
you're
not as good as Andy Mineo and stuff. Like,
you know, my mom, she's not on social media, so she saw something we did one time, and then she couldn't comment because she's not online like that. So she called me and told me her comment, and she said, "You're leading your generation to hell." So we get it from all angles, buddy. It's fine. At least your mom didn't comment.
Dang, your mama told you sending everybody to hell.
She said, "You're leading your generation to hell."
Well, listen,
and it went on from there. But that was the main. That was
whether it's people on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, or your own family.
Or your own parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the lesson here is let the majority of nice things be what's in your head. You know how it is. We're all people. Like,
and then
it's easy to
also
harp on
this
them.
is what bothers me though. I'm gonna be honest. This is the thing that bothers me the most. Is when a person attacks you, but they didn't get the point of what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I feel as a communicator that I failed, and this guy or this girl is being mean. That's the time when it's really, really bad. When it's
the thing. That's what got me. We were talking about last week. I rarely put my name on any of our content, like you, Jesse. I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I mean, fingers in all of it, but name not on any of it. I put my name on a couple of things in the last few weeks. And some op-eds that I was just like, I wanted to share some fair-minded thoughts that may be contrary to other Christian leaders. And people were commenting about dragging me because of the topic, not because of what I said. Like, you didn't even engage what I said. Like, could you please read it and get back to me? I mean, after a while, I got so over it. I was like, I just started commenting, like, reading is hard. Like, kind of formed opinion.
Yeah.
Before
That's how I deal with negative like when it's specifically that, where it's like you read about 4 words of the headline and
you read the headline and then spout off on us. It's
and I remind myself we are in the middle of a horrible media literacy crisis, and this person's a victim, and that's why they're commenting.
I think this one affects me. I think this one affects me so much because, like, we all of us have produced a lot of content. I'm rarely, like I said, like a guest, and you want to do good for the show that's hosting you. And I'm like, oh man, like, I don't want their fans to be bummed out that they had, you know what I mean? Not because I care. It's like, you want to be a good, every time I produce, when we make something, you're like, dude, I really want this episode to be awesome. I want people to dig it, and then I'm like, oh man, I hope I didn't let these guys down. But
here's my question. You as a guest, I know you're on this show, obviously, for 1,290 episodes, or I guess maybe 75 of the 1,290. You're funny. You're quick-witted. You are a deep thinker. You have insights. What were they expecting if they think what you bring is boring? Like, what were they wanting you to do?
They wanted them to tie it to Christian nationalism or Epstein.
No.
They wanted them to do. It was like, there's not enough Epstein in this. Like, I don't get it. Where's the Epstein at?
We get those too.
Where's the conspiracy? I'm waiting on the
dude. We literally posted like this worship artist. This worship artist released a new worship project, and one of the comments was, "Well, why aren't they talking about Epstein?" What are you talking about? Like, anyway. Yeah.
Why do we need to talk about Epstein? Everybody else is talking about him. Like,
can we talk about something else for a split second?
I let it get ahead. Like I said, most of it's very nice, and I had a great time doing them. And they're, but again, like, I think just reading comments about yourself, even if it's a couple outliers, it's hard.
Yeah.
But
you also gotta wonder if those are actual people that like the show, because I literally have people that follow me literally just to critique anything I do bad or anything that happens on the show. So with you being a guest on that show, you don't know if you let the fans down or if that's just a jerk that they have
just an
comments
fan.
on just an honorary
waiting to hate.
Like they watch just to be frustrated. So there's nothing that you were going to be able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people like to rage bait themselves, and that is just
I don't understand.
I'll never have.
The hate follows. Like, why do you want things in your feed that will trigger you? Because, like, I think, like, because we see this in our comments too, depending on the topic of the post, like, they're ready. If we venture anywhere near a topic, a social or cultural topic that they have a lot of feelings about, they'll jump in. But they follow us. Like, I'm literally like, I'll like look like, man, why is this person even following this content? Like, and then like they follow us. Like, why are you following us? I've
had a guy call me an idiot and then follow me. Like, it's not like you were following me and then you found out I was an idiot.
Yeah.
You called me an idiot.
Yeah.
And then after your idiot comment, it says follow. I'm like, are you on drugs?
I don't get it. But this does bring up the thing. Like, one of the reasons, being transparent here, that I've always kind of hidden behind the brand and then put myself out there. I'm sensitive. I don't mind if you criticize the brand because that was a team effort. But like when your name's out there. So Derek, I couldn't imagine what you go through. I could never be a pastor because if somebody left the church, I would take it personally.
Yeah.
Like if I was better, they would have stayed, So like, I like hiding behind the collective, but in this era, man, it's y'all golden rule this thing. Treat others how you'd want to be treated. And like, just pause. Do you need to say this thing?
I think something to also keep in mind, at least for myself, is you like these posts that we're talking about. Sure, there may have been 50 comments, of those 10 of them were bad. It had over 1,000 likes. Like I'm thinking about if physically like 1,000 people came up to me and just gave me a thumbs up, it's like that would mean so much more to me than the 10 people who barely even who vaguely know what this article is even about, So I try to keep that in mind too.
I think for me, like I want to do good because and Derek, you do a ton of interviews all the time, right? So you know that kind of thing of like, man, this platform is like investing in having me on. I want to bring value to it, and I'm like, oh man, did I let their fans down if I didn't deliver what they're expecting? But either way, I've had fun doing them.
I'll say this:
you're always welcome here. You're always welcome here. I
also want to say this to you, Jesse, as a person that has done a lot of interviews. The value isn't the information; it's your perspective. Like it's not just the information; it's the fact that you're an expert in what you're saying, and it's your perspective. And you just got to be okay with the fact that who you are is enough. Because there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna poke hole in the argument, bro. Like,
I'm gonna buy you a T-shirt that just says "enough" on it.
Hey, look, that's my brother. Hey, I go to war over Jesse Carey. I'm gonna tell you right now. If we're in the middle of the street, just let you know. If I'm me, Jesse, and Cameron are supposed to go to a game, I'm gonna let you know. You disrespect one of my brothers in front of me, I'm going to jail.
What do you mean supposed to go to a game? We're going to a game.
Yes, we're going to a game.
Okay.
We're going to a Pistons game.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you right now,
we're going to a Magic game.
We're going to a Pistons game.
We're going to a
Magic game.
The
Pistons are playing the Magic.
Yeah.
We're going right. The Pistons are right. Who's number one?
Yeah.
The Pistons. They're killing it, man.
Fair enough.
Pistons game, man. Right. But I'll let you know, if you disrespect my friends in front of me, I'll go to war for them. Like, it's what it is. Because I know the character and the type of people they are. But then you got to also realize it probably was a bot that made that comment. So we're not going to take it too serious.
Jerry, I appreciate it. The bot thing's the only reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that rationally makes sense.
All the likes, not bots. Those are humans. Negative comments, bots.
It's gotta
100%.
It's got to be.
That makes sense. That checks out to me.
Yeah, I like it. That's going to be
Derek, thank you for getting to the bottom of this.
All right, let's move the show along. Stay tuned. After this quick break, it'll be Relevant Buzz. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Well, obviously, I want to keep talking about sports right now.
I mean, obviously, yeah.
Obviously. Here's the thing. I kind of actually do have to talk about sports because this has been a really big month for sports. We've had the Super Bowl, we've had NBA All-Star Weekend, we've had the Olympics. Like, sports is everywhere, and even for someone like me, you just kind of can't avoid it,
Right. It's true. The Olympics were kind of a snooze. All-Star game was better than we thought it'd be.
I'm going to say
format worked.
Yeah.
I think Olympics ended on a high note with the women's hockey team winning over Canada.
That is true. It started on a bad note of like the legend Lindsey Vonn shattering her legs during competition. But
Was it both legs or just the
I didn't
one?
watch 1 millisecond of the Olympics.
See, I do so much work on my laptop. Like at night, I'm a feet up, laptop out person. I just need background stuff going on. The Olympics is great for me because I don't have to pay attention because I do not care. And so, but just having things going on. So I am aware of what's going on. A lot of twirling, a lot of flying down hills,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I saw someone say the difference between the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics is Winter Olympics is like private school sports and Summer Olympics is public school sports. And that's like, I grew up in public school, so I care more about Summer Olympics when it's like, I knew people who played these sports growing up,
Yeah. You have to have money to be a kid in any of the Winter Olympic sports.
Yeah. Because how else are you getting into luging? Like,
I don't know how much a curling stone costs.
Luging is like a kind of like a bobsled. You go down a track, but you're laying on a sled. Like it's your body on a sled flying down a ice track.
I saw some people doing that in Nashville this last couple months.
There you go. Maybe
they're practicing for the
future
Olympics.
Future Olympians right there.
Yeah. Anyways, that being said, like I said, or there's been so much sports talk. One thing that I have really enjoyed is watching how athletes have been using their platforms to talk about their faith more and more. But this is nothing new. We've been covering this for years now. Like there's so many pro athletes that I feel like have been talking about their relationship with God more and more. But as we've been covering it, it just got me thinking, like, is this something that we've been noticing, or is there actually a shift among pro athletes? So I figured, who better to ask than official team chaplain? I had a conversation with Portland Trailblazers chaplain Mike Tatlock, and I asked him this: is there an actual thing happening among athletes, or are we just paying more attention? And here's what he had to say.
I think what's happening right now is we're seeing in sports arenas, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, I mean, just sports in general, both at the collegiate level and the pro level. I would even say at the high school level, there's such a, God is stirring right now. And there seems to be, God is moving to awaken a hunger and thirst of boldness where people are sharing their faith more. I'm seeing more high school students that are athletes really bold about their faith, and definitely pro athletes more than I've seen. And as an NBA chaplain for the last, I guess, 12 years, I would say the last 2 have been really, definitely you can see a significant increase in people being more bold. Coaches, I mean, all across every sport, there seems to be more boldness for that.
So we've noticed it in the last 2 years. It's interesting that he said 2 years. Yeah, that's how I've noticed it, because there's always been a Tim Tebow. There's always been a outlier, the Christian guy. But it just seems like now it's just like, everybody's like talking about Jesus. And it's not just like, I want to thank God for the victory. It's like Jesus, like a relationship sort of messaging, which is interesting. He just said the last 2 years.
I'll say this too, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, shine a light on us, but with sports, one of the biggest things, the easiest thing to replace is people's dirty music. Replacing it with Miles Minnick, KB, replacing it with Christian hip hop. And I think that, I know when we were younger, we used to have to, or when I first started my career, we did a lot of stuff at Kids Across America, which was sports camps. Like the Christian athletes were the first people to really grab our music and run with it before the mainstream. Like in the locker rooms, you see coaches that would be swapping out Lil Wayne for a Trip Lee and all of that. And I think that's, in my opinion, I look at this and I say, man, this is the power of actually locking in on your sport and locking in on faith and your calling, because I really think that Christian hip hop and sports is why we see a lot of this building in that space. Obviously the gospel, I see the Holy Spirit, but I see like a lot of people like Miles Minnick. He's always at an athletic game with Steph Curry. Bizzle was huge in impacting and sharing the gospel in that space. And I think that God has given us some fruit in this area, and I think that is dope.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about like all the different ways like that. There's like it feels like we've been like building to this moment, like he said, like he's been in this for 12 years, but it's really the last 2 years that he's seen a shift. I did want to ask him, obviously we're seeing like an external, more like people are talking.
They're more vocal.
Yeah, like in interviews or social media, different things like that. But I was curious, like even internally, like is there a shift
like
that
behind the scenes? Is he seeing really? Are they living this out? Yeah. I'm glad you asked that. That's always what I'm curious about too. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, so what was cool is, so I spoke with him at All-Star Weekend, and he said that he has actually been talking with chaplains.
Oh, just a little thing. You were at All-Star Weekend.
Baller.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Baller. But he's actually he had been talking with chaplains all throughout the weekend about how all of them are seeing just internally things happening and things changing with the players. I'll let him talk about that a little bit more.
That's what we've been talking about this whole time that we're here. It just seems that there is this like move of God. It's like some people might call it revival, some people call it might awake, whatever language they want to put. I just say it's a move of God. It's a move of God where there's a hunger and thirst. So you got players showing up because they want to know more about God. You have some players showing because that's the roots that they grew up with. And we see players inviting players.
Derek and I last year were in Guatemala with the chaplain for the Bucks. Mm-hmm. And he was telling us similar stories of like, because in the NBA, the chaplain meeting or the chapel meeting is 1 hour before tip off, and it's both teams. So in other sports, it's like just your team, and it's both teams. And he's like, more and more guys like from the opposing team like are showing up for chapels before every game. And of course, I was asking him for specific names and stuff, and he told us like there's a lot of guys that that are really walking it out, and it was very encouraging to me, because to me the public stuff, anybody can say I love the Lord, but not live it. So for these guys who see them every day to say like, no, they're really like their lives are changing and they're serious about it, like it's really encouraging. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting to see a lot of, it's almost as if as absorbent or decadent as a life can be, the less people begin to see that as important. It's almost like when you don't have that level of decadence, you're like, oh man, if I could just get rich, if I could just get famous. But it's like when you're constantly catered to and you have all this money and power and every girl, you just begin to say, man, there has to be something more to life.
Thank you.
Than this. Yeah. There has to be something more to life than this.
That was the conversation we had with that guy, with the guy on our trip. Like it was like that. Absolutely. It's like they have everything and they're still empty. And it's at that point that they are finding faith. Like, because it's like you hear about jailhouse religion. I've lost everything, so I turn to God. But what happens to these guys who get everything and they're still empty? They turn to God. It's
because you're seeing the same thing with art, with musicians to a degree as well. There's artists that will randomly get on live and just start praying with people and just start reading their Bible. And I don't know what that looks like. There's no chaplain to say what Kalani is doing in the background, but Kalani has just been going to, she'll sing a worship song on her live like it's nothing, and she's the biggest R&B artist out right now. And I just think that's really, really cool. And I love that I see it happening amongst young people. The pendulum feels like it's trying to swing back a little bit to where we went through the devil worship Playboy Cardi phase to where everything had to be like, how provocative can we be in that way? To where maybe we might be going to a different phase. I hope so.
That was something I did talk with Mike about, is he seeing more like veteran athletes have this conversation or like open up about their faith, or is it younger athletes? And he said it's both, but he said he has been kind of surprised by how many younger athletes, like new professional athletes, are coming in ready to talk about their faith. And I think it's because there's been, and when they were in high school or even in college, like there was already a move of God happening, and it's continuing into the professional space. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Remember the NFL guys? I mean, like there was a couple of NFL players this year that like got baptized before their game, and like at my church, the Olympic gold medalist sprinter Noah Lyles got baptized and stuff. And like, it's like, I think these guys are like literally getting saved and getting baptized and getting into the word. Travion Henderson talked about that. Like he only came to faith a year or two ago, and he's just like diving into the word, and he's like, his life is changing and he wants to talk about it. It's just like there's a purity to it, not a performative nature to it, which is amazing because these guys are professional athletes and they have huge platforms and they're modeling a very sincere thing, which I love to see. So,
all right, moving on.
Can I mention one quick thing about All-Star Weekend while we're on it?
Sure.
And then we'll move on. I promise.
Okay.
Cameron, you mentioned they fixed the All-Star game. Okay.
No, I didn't say they fixed it. I was pleasantly surprised that it was watchable.
It was better.
It was watchable.
Here's what I've decided, because I have a young son who loves his two great loves in life are basketball and YouTube, and so the Celebrity All-Star game is a big deal in his world, where these YouTubers and influencers and it's like one of the guys from Dude Perfect and whoever go play a Celebrity All-Star game. Here's what I think we need to fix that. And here's and here's why it's terrible. All of the celebrities involved are too competent at basketball to make the game fun to watch.
It's just bad basketball compared to great basketball.
Yeah. It's like watching rec ball. It's like if it's even like if it's like an NBA influencer, it's like it's too good to
And then you have Drewski.
Yeah. But here's how you fix it. Here's how you fix it. Right?
Make Emily starting five.
Hey, I played basketball in middle school. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I want I want like Danny DeVito level celebrities,
Oh,
like people that
amazing.
you want to see attempt to play basketball. If you're it's gonna be bad basketball, make it terrible. Like I want Betty White. You know what I mean? Like
Back from the dead.
Is she dead?
Yes. Like
When?
2 or 3 years ago.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes. It was
She
like a
died
big
like
deal.
2 weeks before her 100th birthday or something. It was like, oh, she almost made it.
Well, that's unfortunate. But you
Dick
get
Van Dyke. He's still alive. Dick Van Dyke. He's 100 years old.
Yeah, exactly. I want almost unwatchable, or someone who's just like, you're very curious about their athletic, like Tom Cruise. He would be first pick. That if I could say any celebrity, I just want to see attempt to play basketball. He's probably number one.
I like
Jean-Claude
Van Damme.
Van Damme,
Or
exactly.
John Cena, who's like too muscular to be able to move well. So he's like a little, I like it. I like
exactly.
it.
That's how you fix it, NBA. You know,
freak show. You just want a freak show celebrity.
These YouTubers, like I said, they like practice leading up to it, and you can tell, like, you know, some of them like hired trainers and stuff. I don't want to see that.
Like 5-10 years ago, Bieber would always play, and it was like, no, you're legit good. Like this isn't.
I can go to the rec center and watch competent basketball players play amateur basketball. You know what I mean?
But that's actually how the celebrity game started out. We just found that there was some that were actually pretty good at basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, oh, Quavo's actually pretty good. I didn't think he'd be able to play in those skinny jeans. You know what I'm saying?
They need to do like a Hunger Games style pick at All-Star Week. Like whoever's there, all their names get put in the pot.
No.
Like you don't have time to practice.
No, you don't. No, not even that. Nobody submits for it. It's just a draft. Like you name a celebrity and they have to play. They have to fly in the next week and play in the game. That's it. I'm sorry, you got drafted to the celebrity game. You have to show up.
Yeah.
Like
Who did
How do you enforce that?
They're managers. You threaten legal action or something. I don't know. Take away their endorsement deals.
Who did the national anthem this year? Because all I know about All-Star Weekend is a few years ago when Fergie did the national anthem.
Charlie Puth. He was pitch perfect. It was great.
Oh, incredible.
Oh, yeah. Charlie.
Didn't he do the Super Bowl too?
No, I'm joking. He did the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. I was like, that's crazy that he keeps.
That's his new tour. He's just doing all the national anthem.
You're the national anthem guy from here on. You know?
He did kind of nail it. What I love is like I saw somebody on social media be like, what people don't know is that he's pitch perfect. And it's like, that's all we know about Charlie Puth is that he's pitch perfect. Like that's literally his thing. And so he's thought the TikToker thought they had a scoop. Like what you don't know about Charlie Puth is it's all we know about
what
Charlie.
Game was it? Dude, I've got to find the clip.
I'm nervous.
I love when we lose Jesse for about 3 minutes while he's looking up an obscure
Are you talking about the track runner?
No. This was, I was watching a game, and I want to say it might have been like an Army-Navy game or something. It was some televised sport event. And the national anthem, they had it performed by I think it was a hockey game. I'm going to find it. And I guess the person who does it he just sings it. And it was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. I'm going to find this clip. Derek, continue for a sec while tell me about this track singer. Hold on.
So Carl Lewis is the one I'm talking about.
That's when he sang.
Carl Lewis's national anthem is the worst national anthem I've ever heard. It beats Fergie. Here, I'll play it while we find
Roseanne Barr at the baseball All-Star game.
While we find it. Hold on.
Roseanne Barr sang the national anthem?
Think about Carl Lewis. It also accompanied the greatest Sports Center zinger of all time. And you were about to see it, where he goes more like Francis Scott off key.
Oh, no.
Yes.
And in one of his movies, that a man's got to know his limitations. Carl Lewis apparently didn't see the movie. If his rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner prior to the Nets-Bulls game last night is any indication, as a public service, we present now only excerpts. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
All right, are we all ready? Here we go. Oh, say, can you see? And the Rockets, red flag. Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. For the land of the free.
Hit the note. They're booing him. They're roasting him. Oh,
if you watch the whole thing, it's just it's painful because he drags it on instead of just get through it.
I like that he like self-inserts like, oh, I'll make up for it. Watch this.
And then it's like he did not make up for it.
He's never left that down. It still bothers him. Like they do interviews with him and it'll come up. Like I've seen interviews like in the last couple of years because that clip is like 35 years old, and people will and it eats him alive that clip is out there and that he was roasted on SportsCenter for it.
But because you're the greatest like athlete at the time. You're the man. This is the one area where you failed.
We don't need you to sing.
You failed.
We don't need
and
it.
He's probably more passionate about this than Trank. That's the crazy part about it.
Because he's just killing it in the shower. You know what I mean? Like he's just like,
shit.
man,
I'm
good. I'm good. I'm gonna put out.
He's winning a Grammy in the shower, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna show everybody. Just have you found it yet? Because we gotta move on.
I can't. I'm gonna have to bring it in a future episode. I can't remember what game, but the guy just goes out there and he's got this look in his eye and he starts shout singing it, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I was so pumped.
Wait, you saw it live? You just happened to see it?
Yeah, I just had it on. I want to say it was like a military related game. And it was like, I think this person's job in the military is to sing the national anthem like super hardcore. Like I think they're in the military and like he's not. Like that is his whole role. Like you're our national anthem guy for the military. It was awesome. Yeah, I gotta find it.
All right.
Anyway, we'll continue.
All right, getting us back to relevant buzz real quickly.
Sorry,
I do want to talk.
We went on a whole nother tangent.
It's not relevant buzz unless we go on a random tangent. So it was just a little bit earlier than I expected. So it makes sense. No, but I do want to talk about this new report that came from Bloomberg this week that found that the alcohol industry has lost, get this, $830 billion over the last 4 years.
4 years.
The last 4 years, since 2021.
That's crazy.
Post-pandemic.
Why are they saying is it because of different drugs or what?
Well, they're really blaming / thanking Gen Z for it. Gen Z is drinking less alcohol, and a lot of people, have said is it because of they're smoking more, weed or whatever. That's part of it. But really, there are a lot of Gen Z that are actually just practicing a more sober life. I think after years of talking about the dangers of alcohol, mixed with the very high price of alcohol as well, Gen Z just has decided alcohol is not for me. I'm going to do something else. And so these alcohol companies have lost literally billions. Now they are turning to mocktail options to hopefully get some revenue back, which I love a good mocktail. Right. So excited to see what juice concoction they come up with. But
all the huge, I read our article, all the huge conglomerates are like acquiring non-alcoholic brands and they're doing a bunch of non-alcoholic drinks for Gen Z because they're not drinking.
So they're not becoming potheads. It's literally that Gen Z is sobering up.
Yeah, Gen Z is demonstratively more sober. They don't sleep around as much. I go down the list. All of the vices of millennials and Gen X, Gen Z is rejecting, which is fascinating.
Good for them. That's crazy. That's dope.
But how much of it too, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but how much is it there maybe that generation isn't as sort of, social's the wrong word, but like outwardly at, going out to dinner, going to parties, going to stuff.
Where they came up in isolation.
Exactly. Or on screens where, for, I feel like maybe an older generation, drinking is often associated with social activity. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, I wonder, there's probably a lot of factors in it, but I wonder how much that is.
That's crazy. I didn't think about that. It's like getting plastered on your phone is kind of just not.
Right.
Not it. Getting plastered at a frat party.
I do think that was a bigger issue, maybe obviously 2020, 2021, 2022. From what I've seen, Gen Z wants to be more social and wants more activity. So they're moving away from that. I haven't really seen any specific stats on like how much more social is Gen Z now, but anecdotally there is more, like they are getting more social, but then they go out, they don't want to spend, like I said, $20 on an alcoholic beverage that is going to make them feel like crap later. Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. The cocktails at a dinner, I mean, it's as much as a dinner for a certain. Yeah, so it's like you're paying for dinner twice. So I mean, good for them for not being fiscally irresponsible. Because
well, they can't afford to be fiscally irresponsible because everything's unaffordable to them.
It's unaffordable. You're tariffed and inflation to death is what's happening.
Not anymore. Anyway.
Anyways, moving on. Very last thing really quickly. Elevation Worship has just released their brand new album, So Be It. It is their first new album in 2 years, which is actually kind of a big deal. Last year was the first time in 10 years they didn't release a new album. And so I spoke with worship leader Chris Brown, the good one, to be clear, about why they took a pause.
Well, worship leader Chris Brown tells us it's not R&B artist Chris Brown. So you're saying there's a bad worship leader Chris Brown? If he's the good worship leader Chris Brown?
You know what?
Because Chris Brown from Virginia is good.
So the joke is Chris Brown, the good Chris Brown. But you said worship leader Chris Brown, the good one. So now there's a bad worship leader Chris Brown out there.
Here's the thing. As an Emily Brown who has met a few other Emily Browns, statistically, there probably is a bad worship leader Chris Brown. I'm sorry.
Chris is pretty basic name, too. So he's
Chris Brown. Of course, there's a bad worship leader Chris Brown out there. And let us know if he's the one at your church. I actually am really curious.
Yeah, right into the comments.
Right into that's the comments for this week.
It's like, yo, Chris Brown at First Baptist New Orleans sucks.
Problematic. He tried to do the national anthem and he did not deliver.
Now he's going to read the comments like Jesse. He's going to be hurt.
All the Chris Browns in our comments being like, not me, not me. No. We're going to hear from the good Chris Brown, who's also a good worship leader. Here's what he had to say.
We went really, really hard in, I guess, 2024. And it's like we just emptied the chamber completely of songs. And 25 was a year of gathering songs again and not feeling a lot of pressure to like, let's get songs to just make an album because it's what we do every year. Let's wait until we get the songs that we absolutely love. So, it feels really, really good to have another album.
So there you have it. Their album So Be It is out now. You should check it out.
Okay. All right. That'll do it for Relevant Buzz. Make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every weekday where we're covering all that and a lot more. Thanks, Emily. All right. Stay tuned. Up next, quick break. It's Slices. All right. It's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
Well, Cameron, you alluded to this earlier, and I try not to get too much into legal matters on this show.
Are you going to bring up tariffs?
And there was a big financial case that was recently discussed in the court system.
Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, this one.
You're taking the Supreme Court one and you're going somewhere else. Sorry. Okay.
About an economic issue that affects almost every American I know.
Okay.
And that is whether Buffalo Wild Wings can legally call what are basically chicken nuggets, boneless chicken wings. They were taken to court over this by a customer who wants financial damages because this customer believes that saying that you have boneless wings would lead the customer to believe that this is a wing that has been deboned.
Correct.
When in fact, this customer says, what is the difference between this and just a chicken nugget? How can you charge me for a boneless wing when you're actually just a chicken nugget with sauce? And so this has made its way. This has been making its way through the court system.
This feels like when Subway got sued for calling a foot long sub a foot long, but it was 11 inches. And they got sued over that.
As they should have.
Subway figured out if we remove 1/12 of the ingredients, our profit margin will go up X amount. So they did shrink it without announcing it, but they still called it a foot long.
Yeah.
And they got sued, and I think they had to pay. I think they had to admit wrongdoing and pay up. What happened in this case?
Well, the judge Like I said, this has been making its way through the court system for 3 years now before a judge has issued a ruling.
Years of legal fees.
That's right. And the judge has said that the plaintiff did not drum up enough evidence to support his claim that he suffered financial damages. And the judge has determined that basically, because boneless wing is just part of the parlance, that he does not disagree that it's basically a chicken nugget. But he doesn't think that a reasonable consumer thinks that maybe there was some process to strip a bone out of a wing, and that's what you're getting. So he said that even though the letter of the law, the plaintiff is right, these are chicken nuggets that they're calling boneless wings, people get it. And he didn't see reason to award.
We live in a world for the last 30 years where we've had the McRib sandwich at McDonald's. Yeah. Nobody thinks that there's ribs in it, even though they press the goo into the shape of ribs. Like we live in this is crazy. Somebody
I love that the judge was like, "You're an idiot for thinking."
Yeah,
that's
3 years of legal fees, but over a nugget. Come on, man.
Can you imagine being a judge? That's what I'm saying. Just like waking up and it's like, okay, what's on the docket today?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? Huh? Like, and then
I'm
comes back
the lawyers
for 3
having
years?
to come up with defense for like why this is a chicken nugget, why it's not a chicken. Like, you went to law school for this.
Everything. Yeah, I'm quitting after this case because I know I'm gonna make some money because it's Buffalo Wild Wings. But after this, I'm done. I'm gonna go do something totally different.
Yeah,
I never want to do this again. Yeah,
serious. That's funny. All right, what do you have, Derek?
Well, we're gonna come back to the hometown of Nashville. So in Nashville, let's stay in the legal realm as well. Man was trying to order a hash brown bowl at Waffle House and was instead hit in the face with bear spray, taken to the ground with a stun gun, and immobilized with zip ties. And he's now suing.
Over what? Over hash browns?
Hash brown bowl. So he got into it with the server. So here's the scoop. The server and the cook are married.
Okay.
And I guess he was being rude to the server.
Okay.
So the cook and the security guard step in and he gets immobilized. So bear spray, stun gun, zip ties. And this checks out. This feels very Waffle Housey.
Although the one thing you just said that shocks me more than any of it is that there was a security guard there.
Yes, that
I've never seen a Waffle House fight that had a security guard involved.
I've never seen it. But
I thought the chef was a security guard.
Yeah,
the waitresses are the security guards.
Yeah,
exactly.
They'll throw hands.
I gotta say, Waffle House employee, top 3 people I'm not fighting. I'm gonna be nice and respectful to them.
They have trays at their disposal. Are you kidding me? No way.
Yeah.
I'm not mouthing off to Waffle House.
I will say, a security guard at Waffle House, like, that means that location has seen some stuff. If they're putting
that location is lit. If it's a security guard in the is lit.
Yeah, you don't open with a security guard. You get a security guard because something happened. Yeah.
Well, not only that,
repeatedly.
A security guard who's armed with bear spray and zip ties.
Bear spray in a restaurant is crazy. Not mace, not pepper spray. Bear spray.
Yeah, we don't just start with that. We build up to that. So what's been happening?
To be fair, this Waffle House has not only been the scene of several horrific, just all-out fights. It's actually been attacked by bears several times.
Several bears. Yeah, they wander in. Yeah, that's funny. All right. Well, that'll do it for Slices. We do not have those stories at RelevantMagazine.com. You just got to listen to the podcast for those. All right, stay tuned. Up next, we have Ask the Cast. Okay, it's time for...
Ask the Cast. Anything you want, and we'll use our brains to answer.
Okay, we went over to Instagram literally an hour before we started recording, and we said, hey, we're doing Ask the Cast. We've done it now. This is 3 times in a row. You guys sent in a bunch of questions. Here we go. Greg Hackenberg said, has Jesse ever been on the other end of an epic prank?
That's a good one.
I'm trying to think. I think I've sniffed out some. I don't know if anyone's actually pulled one off on me, to be honest.
Well, now you've just thrown the gauntlet down. Now everybody's going to try and...
Yeah.
Okay, good luck. Many have tried and failed.
What were some of the pranks that you foiled?
Probably college ones, right? I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I used to. There was tons of stuff I used to do to other people that I just wasn't gonna fall for. I mean, even the basic stuff. Put a trash can full of water, lean it up their door, and knock and run. There was just stuff. Again,
Jesse,
or prank calls or whatever. They just don't work on me.
Emily, this is a regular occurrence.
Wait a second. You put a trash can full of water,
leaned up against the door, knocked.
So
they open the door, falls in, floods your room. I mean, this is. And we lived in the dorms. We had tile floors in the hallways.
Derek's face is.
And we had metal. We all had metal doors and concrete cinder block walls and tile floors, indestructible. But the metal doors were about an inch off the floor. So a rival wing who hated our wing would come to the end of our hall and flood it with sudsy water, and it would flood down the hallway and go into everybody's rooms. So
menaces.
My favorite was because those are just straight up savage, but it's really the mental stuff. We were really good with air horns, and we had trash chutes, and we would measure out a fishing line, like where a trash chute, like the opening would come in another hallway, and we would about 3 or 4 in the morning drop air horns down there with like rubber bands around them. So it's just blasting right into their hallway, and then when they go to retrieve it, we pull it up a little. It was an unstoppable prank. One time we put an alarm clock in somebody's ceiling, like, so they thought an alarm clock was going off like in an adjacent room or someone above them, but we actually put it into their ceiling. And then when they finally went up there, we covered it in peanut butter so that they had a nice surprise when they eventually grabbed it in the middle.
That is sick.
That's
torture.
One time we ziplined air horns onto the balcony of a room in another dorm across campus,
like across the parking lot.
Yeah. It was with carabiners.
The guy 2 doors down from me, I didn't like him at all. My metal door was slightly concave from people busting it in, and so it was pretty easy to break into my room. So he one day, like half my movies were gone. I had a bunch of DVDs and VHS, and half of them were gone. And everybody told me this guy is the one who borrowed them. And so while he was at class one day, we had honeycomb, like geometric honeycombs outside of our windows, just as a mid-century modern kind of detail. And we had a bunch of trees outside, and so it was spring and all the squirrels were out. And so while he was at class, I went and opened his window, and he came back and there were 3 squirrels in his room because I put like food on the ledge. And so, little things like that. That's what ORU was back then.
No, those are not little things. Like you said, little things like that.
He came back from class and there were 3 squirrels in his bed. It was great.
In his bed. That's not a little thing. That is terrible.
How do you get squirrels out of your room? Oh, that's great. Anyway,
I'm just thinking about Jesse doing saw pranks on his classmates and just terrorizing them.
Yes. When I was there, my guys weren't as clever as Jesse's year. We lived on the same wing, but so the shenanigans were similar. My guys weren't as clever. They pranked a guy from a rival floor one time by breaking into his room, stealing his TV, going up to the top of the dorm and throwing it off as the prank.
That's just vandalism.
That's vandalism.
Ours had psychological.
Guys,
so that's an offense.
Jesse's stuff was funny. My guys were just idiots. They were dumb brutes, So anyway.
I don't even want to tell y'all. It's too rated R for relevant.
That's funny. Jesse Gilonsky says, have you ever found out who fell on you in the dorm room back when you were at college weekend that time?
No, it was me falling on somebody. Not vice versa. I fell off a
bunk. Oh no, that's what I'm sorry. Did you ever find out who you fell on in the dorm room? Sorry.
He passed away from internal injuries unrelated to the bed thing. I don't know.
Kelsey Dowd says, who hasn't been featured on the Relevant podcast or relevant that you would want to interview? That's interesting.
The bad Chris Brown has been dying to get on.
The bad worship leader, Chris Brown.
Exactly.
To defend his good name. Yeah.
Let's see. We did have like a Mount Rushmore. Like Chris
Have
Pratt.
You got Pharrell yet? I think Pharrell would be dope.
Pharrell was on the cover of our issue in 2021 or 2022. Yeah.
Run it back. Run it back.
It was when he was promoting that gospel choir show.
Oh,
he did an interview with Emily. Did you do that, or was that Tyler?
No, that was Tyler that did that one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was cool.
We've had, we've had some good ones. Chris Pratt was on there for a while. So
Chris Pratt was on the Mount Rushmore, and we just had him. So yeah, pretty cool.
So we got to start a new Mount Rushmore.
Kelsey Dowd asks, which cast member would you want to be stranded on an island with?
Well, not Jesse, because he probably would torture me to death. So
I would say this: you would survive the trip.
But
would I mentally survive?
No, he would be crafty and find food and MacGyver things
it's
to get off
Jesse
the
for
island.
me,
It's Jesse, 1,000%.
sure.
No
Yeah,
question.
it's Jesse
But
for
again,
me.
at what cost to my mental health?
Angie Agner says, do your families listen to the podcast?
My parents do.
No,
My parents have never once. My parents have never once listened to it.
There's a reason I don't tell too many stories on this podcast is because my parents listen.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Yeah, I don't even think my family know I'm on a podcast. I think they be like, yo, what's Dad doing in the basement?
Cameron Strang wrote in, who's your favorite person who's hosted the podcast for the last 20 years?
Who wrote in and asked that?
Cameron Strang.
Cameron Strang.
Oh, okay.
I did actually reply to the story. I saw it. Let's see. Okay, I like this one. Adam Davis asks, what's your favorite TGIF era sitcom?
Okay, and remind me again, what is that era? Like
90s Friday night.
It's got to be
90s
Family
Friday.
Matters.
Okay.
It's Family Matters. That's
For
the
sure.
only right now.
Peak Family Matters.
I don't know.
was-
Full House was actually pretty good though.
Family
I think if you were to run them back now,
Hold on,
I think
hold on.
Family Matters would hold up.
Urkel for the first several seasons for sure, but once his voice changed and he became Urkel and all that junk, like I think Family Matters in the last half just outgrew it. Like they stayed too long.
They outgrew the shtick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, and I feel like, I guess both of the shows were kind of moralistic, but I feel like Family Matters took a very moralistic turn. Like I remember one episode where like Eddie Winslow was getting hustled at the pool hall, and like Grandma Winslow came and won a bunch of game against the pool hall hustlers, and I'm like, are they so desperate for moral storylines that the big takeaway on this episode is don't go to pool halls? Like it just seemed like they were cramming lessons in at one point where I feel like just the family dynamics worked, you know.
What else was the lineup? So Family Matters, Full
Step by
House
Step.
was Boy Meets World. Was that also it?
Hogan Family was at the early parts of it, like the early 90s.
And then Hang with
Was
Mr.
Fresh
Cooper
Prince?
had a stretch.
Woo!
No,
Hanging with
Fresh Prince
Mr. Cooper was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Boy Meets World was hey, Boy Meets World wasn't no joke. Nah,
That was a lot of people's first crush right there.
I watched Boy Meets World when I was a kid. I remember that one. So I'll go with that one.
That was good. All right. Here we go. Okay, last one. So this one, they addressed it to me, but I'm going to open it up to you guys. So Lisa Martinez, she says, Cameron, if you go back to until 2003, Cameron, one thing about where Relevant would end up, what would it be? I'm going to ask you guys, if you go back to 2003 and tell yourself about one thing about where you end up 20 some years later, what would it be?
Like, I guess the intent is something that would like surprise.
Yeah,
yourself.
surprise you in 2003, like about how things turned out. So Emily, you would have been 8.
Yeah, I was in the 3rd grade. I probably would have told myself that you will have a career that you really like. I actually did like I liked English when I was in elementary school, so I think maybe telling myself I'd be a writer. And yeah, I don't know. It's been
Derek,
a while since I was 8. So
Derek, were you dreaming about a career in music at that age? 2003?
Yeah. I just never thought I would be able to do it. So yeah.
Not only are you doing it, you run a label. You're a prolific producer, Grammy Award-winning artist and producer.
Yeah, I'm right now where I'm at is icing on the cake. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like I never thought I'd be this far, so I'm thankful.
And Jesse, you probably tell yourself that one day people will call you boring on the internet.
That's right. I would, travel all the way back to that moment and stare at myself right in the face.
Like work on your personality.
And say, brother, you suck. And you're capital B boring.
And it'll be a robot who said it.
Yeah. And then I'd slap myself really hard.
That's great. All right. Well, thanks for writing those in. There's actually more. We'll pick them up at a future date. Although we're getting into spring. Next episode, we're in March. We got some spring break games and, a little shift. But it was fun doing some Ask the Cast this month. All right. Hey, if you're watching, thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening to the show, go check us out on YouTube. The numbers are still insane, and I can't wrap my head around it, and I'm grateful. The shows are getting like 250,000 views each week. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense, but we're very, very grateful. Thanks to Mike Tatlock for talking to Emily during his very busy All-Star weekend and telling us what's going on there in sports. And check out the Elevation Worship album. The first one in 2 years just came out. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody.